Okay, so for the 39th time, let me just get to the point. Before I forget this, I'm going to start off by saying when people have their little rituals with pedophiles, they always take on character traits of the person more and more, especially since that's just because, like, that's how the ritual of sex and soul ties works. So, like, just like I said in the other videos, and I've been saying since, I don't even know which one, but the abuse evidence videos, commonly, quote-unquote, narcissists or Jezebelic and Leviathan-filled people, they, of course, had the dysfunctional family, but what breaks them down and splits them up even more is sexual abuse. Commonly, their first boyfriend or girlfriend is a pedophile, and everything pretty much goes from there, along with having kids with the pedophile. And so, yeah, I've noticed that people who get into these pedophilic relationships out of desperation take on more and more traits of the pedos. And, like, the kid could be really nice, but then some years go by and the sex ritual keeps happening, and the demons from them keeps having, okay, wait a minute, let me start over. There's constantly demonic transference going on, even when they're not having sex, because there's still going to be just the emotional soul ties, even with the manipulation from the abuser and the trauma bond and all that. And so the kid gets meaner and meaner, or they start to, like, pick up ways about them. Like, I even remember with this girl, she's older than me. She was 19 when I met her. I don't really know how old she is, but she's one of the foster kid people that was unfortunately kidnapped from another country. So she's actually from Egypt, and then of course the rich white supremacist family that adopted her didn't want her anymore, so she's just been homeless since then, and she grew up in an orphanage in Egypt too. So obviously there was already some trauma beforehand. And anywho, I met her in this one place, and I remember she was dating this pedo. Seemed like she had dated a lot of them. She showed the usual signs of a traumatized person, kind of like how she's Arabic, so kind of like how it's really hard for me to actually explain this in one sitting, actually, now to think about it, because there's so much I would have to say to even get it to make sense, I feel. But, like, how Danielle Bregoli acted, and people called her quote-unquote acting black, even though, for one, black is actually an insult label, a label that actually goes along with certain types of trauma-based mind control, kind of just like how when somebody's under trauma-based mind control, there's like certain words that they could use to trigger certain personalities. That's what the term black is. And so acting black, as in that stereotype with like how Daniel Bregoli acted and like how a lot of these rappers under trauma-based mind control acting black is acting like a person under a certain type of trauma-based mind control. So that's what this girl acts like in ways. And then, of course, how once people get defiled, they start dressing a certain way, and they pick up certain spirits that make them have certain characteristics. Kind of like what people say about, it's not really noticed that much with, like, the girls, but, like, guys who are turned out, and how it seems like they're trying really hard to act like a stereotypical woman, but really that's just the spirits, because the spirits are really flamboyant. So not even just the Jezebel spirit, which commonly lesbians have that too, not even just the guys, but also the peacock spirits and some other ones. So, anywho, to get to the point, because I really don't want this to be 30 minutes because I have no data to upload something like that. To get to the point, she already had her certain ways about herself, but I noticed that certain ways that the pedophile she was with would act, she also had those ways about herself too. And I could tell that she picked them up from them through the spiritual transference. So like certain ways, it's like a certain way the dude act when he got mad and how he would like just start doing stupid little effeminate stuff, just stupid extra stuff. She did that too, and I could tell she got that from him. And it also makes me think of this whole situation where like when you when you think that like the pedophile's boyfriend or girlfriend is like their kid or younger sibling, and then you ask them about it, and then the way that they just flip out and ask why does it matter and what is it to you and why and I'm just a friend, stuff like that. So yeah, it also makes me think about that part. Now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to actually piece together the rest of this because I haven't even started reading my notes yet. Okay, I really hope I'm hearable. I don't want to be too loud because I really don't know if my neighbors can hear me or not. And I get really paranoid about that when I'm staying near other people. But, anywho, so this is gonna be about a girl I somewhat kind of met. And this is gonna go into some stuff because, like, once again, we're in the same space or area, town. I don't know, but we've been in the same town before, although due to the whole thing with laying low till 18 and other things with the situation, she's really good at hiding, it seems, so I didn't really see her much. And to make a long story short, it was kind of embarrassing coming here and like worrying about possibly seeing her because we kind of somewhat met on some embarrassing notes of an argument that I don't remember much about. But like it was just a lot going on and I just was confused about some stuff and there was it. And I feel like we met on bad notes and then it made her like feel a certain type of way about me, but I don't even think she remembers it. In fact, we shared a few words earlier and I even kind of locked eyes with her because I was really scared at this I guess open mic type thing. But pretty much I was just really paranoid about something that she obviously doesn't remember and probably doesn't even remember like what I look like or can even like piece my face to the situation. I don't think she remembers it, so I was really doing too much. But that's my start off point. And we've talked a few times since then, but that was like over the phone. But yeah, so I was just real paranoid for no reason. Probably looking suspicious, which I usually do because I really don't feel comfortable around people. So I just observe and stay quiet. But anywho, so I feel like I've watched someone's downfall to a certain extent. And I'm trying to figure out where to even start with this. I was thinking about making the title, Am I a Limerence Obsessed Stalker? Okay, so let me start off. My mind versus most. So throughout my life, I've always had it pointed out to me that I understood more than most people my age and even most adults. And still even recently. And I remember this whole situation even where like this one dude, I thought he was saying it to make me feel better, but this one dude was like, even with all the bullcrap your relatives say about you, with all that you've been through, you're practically normal. I don't like the term normal. I don't really know what that means, but like the more I've really gotten out, hold up, ignore that. The more I've really gotten out in like the world and even thought more about how some other people's trauma symptoms were, the more I realized that I could see what he meant. I won't even say he's right because I really don't know what normal means, but I could see what he meant. And it also makes me think about my mindset compared to others. So, as you know, I've been doing a series about why you can't be desperate and things like that. And it's like, how do I hurry up and get to the point before it's just 30 minutes? I know that, like, the things that I'm willing to avoid, most people, regardless of how old they are, I'm willing to avoid. The things that I'm willing to do to not fall into cycles that some other people have fallen into, and to not make things worse for myself, a lot of people aren't willing to do. Like, a lot of people are scared of me because I'm able to just do things alone and be on my own and not constantly be begging for some dude to date me and begging for boyfriends and girlfriends and chomos and no, I don't even know what else to say, but I could keep going. So yeah, I noticed that, and I noticed most people aren't willing to not fall into all those different things, even though a lot of people try to, like, especially in the West Coast, because like in the West Coast, and even it's spreading, it's been spreading, also some upper East Coast areas, but in the West Coast specifically, it's like due to the fact that drug usage has been so normalized for so long, a lot of people just feel like I'm automatically destined to do drugs just because bad things have happened to me. And even because of my current situation, it's like it's really just not something that appeals to me. My relatives didn't even do drugs. I mean, unless you want to count the whole cash for kids system, psychotropics, which I mean, those are the same drugs that people are doing now here. But other than like forced prescriptions, no. And it's like, I mean, it just never appealed to me. It never will. I'm still trying to recover from the health issues I got from that. So no, definitely not. But people do talk about the issue of like spiking drinks and how that can happen in different places, and like, I mean, yeah, that's possible, but I just avoid people so those things don't happen. But anywho, um yeah, so anywho, this specific person would like make post about how do I put this? Oh my gosh, wait a minute, there's ants in here. About how they aren't a prostitute, aren't a sex worker, tired people come in their inbox asking them about it. How guys will ask them about like getting with them to not have to be homeless anymore and different things like that. Um and I know that like people may say it's none of my business or I just pay too much attention to stuff. But I don't even think it's that I really pay too much attention to what other people do and say in person and online. I really just think that I'm really good at reading behind the scenes and like feeling emotions through text. Like there was even this one person who I kind of felt like something was going on that was bad, and then yeah, something was going on that was bad, and that was a person that I had never seen before, never even seen their face. But that's a whole nother story. So there was that, and then I noticed that they were talking about how they don't do drugs and like how they cope with stuff on not doing drugs. Then a while later, they were talking about how they stay away from most drugs to help with their mental health. And so I was like, something definitely happened from this point. From A to B, something happened. That's a switch up right there. That's the personality change. Somebody implanted something into them to make them start doing things that they shouldn't do. So there was that. And yeah, I do feel like I really started to like pay attention more, honestly, a while back. Because on this specific person, they of course were another runaway at 17. They turned 20 in January. I'm trying to whisper. But yeah, they turned 20 in January. She's older than me. which reminds me of another situation I need to make a video about some other girl. But anywho, anywho, I noticed way back when, after she left the first area that we were both in together, once she left there, I noticed like she started making more videos, of course, once she turned 18 and didn't have to like worry about the police seeing it or something like that. She was getting places that you really could only get to with the car. And I had already been felt like she probably was already dating some pedo. I had already been felt like that. Because that's what commonly happens. And like, even though she says the things that she says, I know most people really aren't willing to just thug it out like I do. And I'm not trying to like put myself on a pedestal or anything like that. I'm just being serious about the situation. Most people fall into this trap. Most people fall into this cycle. So it's like, even though she was saying the things that she was saying, I didn't really believe it. And I felt like, honestly, she's probably saying the things that she's saying because she already has some quote unquote boyfriend anyway. And so, yeah, there's that with the mindset thing. Let me pause this. Now, to go ahead and get to the point really early, for just in case I have to cut this off, because of me possibly not being able to upload anything that's too long, I'm gonna break it down to, I went to the skate park in this specific off-grid place, and then she was there, and then she was there wearing what she usually wears, which is something else I noticed. I noticed that she started wearing less clothes like a while ago, and I mean, it does get 120 here, but like, I noticed that a long time ago, and that also made me think. But of course, like, I mean, I'm sure there was a lot even in the previous abuse situation that she escaped, which is part of why she'd be willing to do this, other than just a neglect. But anyway, I went to the skate park, and so she was with this dude, this white dude that looked like he was about 40, and it's like, I can make a whole video about that itself. It's very obvious that people only get with these pedos out of desperation because they're never, it's like they commonly don't really have anything and they're not good looking either. But yeah, so they were like making out and kissing on the lips, and it was honestly really nasty. It was very nasty. And then he was like, I love you, and she was like, I love you so much, and some other stuff. And then it was just really nasty. And I also noticed that like, she's really one of the only people I've seen like in my age range that is also extremely small and looks about 11. And like, but hey, people think it's because of being homeless, but no, a lot of us looked like that way before we became homeless. But anywho, so there's that. But yeah, because I feel like I should just go ahead and state the situation, because I know how I can go off and like lose stuff and lose my thoughts. Lose. Anywho, feels like I'm losing a lot of stuff, witnessing everyday life in this world. Okay, so I've had multiple people tell me about how smart people learn from others' mistakes. I even had some lady tell me this earlier, and she was trying to get me to help her with something, but she was a red flag, so definitely not. In fact, I just no, actually, the other day, apparently, I don't even know what happened, cause like I just came here, but like I don't know if the lady was trying to like unalive large groups of people, but allegedly her sister, it wasn't really making sense, but allegedly her sister like blew up some people's RVs, and then she ran back to the library to pretend she didn't do it, or her sister did. I can't even remember faces, so I can't even tell who's what. But yeah, so that happened, and then she tried to like guilt trip me almost into helping her paint some stuff to fix the library because something about somebody losing, I don't even know. But there was a whole bunch of explosions and like smoke ascending into the air, and a lady came riding down on a bike, and then someone asked her if she knew what was going on. She said no, and this other dude had came, and he had this huge, I don't even know what it was, a mallet in his hand, and he ran up on her, and he was like, you and your murderous sister, blah 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 blah, because I can't really remember. And then she was like, well, I don't know where she is, and she's losing her mind, and now they're trying to like do a strike or protest to evict her because her and her sister are losing their mind, and they keep trying to like unalive people or something. So yeah, not only was the lady a red flag, but how she was trying to like beg me into helping her do something I didn't really have time to do, and it was too hot to be honest. It was like nah, and that's like the second red flag. Okay, so there goes 30 minutes. Let me just do a part 2 because this isn't gonna work because I have no data already.